All righty, you are looking live. It's sold out MetLife Stadium where today the 16-0 and playoff bound New York Giants will be taking on the 0-16 New York Jets. With Aaron Rodgers starting at quarterback. And why are the New York Jets 0-16? Because they suck. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all that's going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching a replay of this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I greatly appreciate it. I'm going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight, shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free, fire away, throw in the chat box. I usually try to check on the chat box like, every 5 or 10 minutes or so. So and anybody's got anything to say, please feel free, fire away. As soon as I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. Plus, also, instead of me just rambling off for 30 minutes or whatever it might wind up being, it's nice to just talk to another Giant fan. So please feel free, fire away. So before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, I have the top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon. Second membership level I got is called the Lawrence Taylor. And the third membership level I got is called the Gridiron. Each one has their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. And I thank you in advance. Thank you. If you are subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you. I can use all the support I can get, guys. But if you're not, please go down below. Hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live or next time I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. And then finally, also in the description box below, I got 2 Facebook links. The top one takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. And I say this in all my videos. Basically, my YouTube channel, my Facebook group, my Facebook page, which I'll go over in a minute. It's all called the same thing. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. That way I dumb it down for a moron like me. That way I don't got to, what's my YouTube channel called? Is my Facebook page called something my Facebook? It's all called the same thing. It makes it really nice and easy for me. What are we at? We're at 5,000 members. Right? It's doing really well. A couple of days ago, we hit the 5,000 member mark. So it's really, really doing good. And basically what I try to do is, once I get done going live here, I'll spend probably like the next 2 hours or so putting stuff in the Facebook group and in my Facebook page, right? Whether it's a video, a post, a picture, just something showing some stats on a ball player. I might share an article or something about the Giants. There might be something that makes fun of the Cowboys or the Eagles, which are my personal favorites, by the way, right? I try to get at least 10 different things in there every day. And now the season is upon us, pretty much almost upon us. It's so easy. I'm getting well over 10 things every day in the group and in the page. And and if you become a member of the group, not only am I posting stuff in there, but the members are posting stuff in there as well, too. So, there's a ton of New York Giants information going in the group every day. And the same thing, the second Facebook link takes you to my Facebook page. It's a page. I'm the administrator, so I'm the only one to post anything in there, but it's called the New York Giants Gridiron. It's a page. It's the same thing. Once I get done going live here, I said I'll spend like probably the next 2 hours putting stuff in the group and in the page. And it's the same thing with the page. I try to get at least 10 things in there every day. And usually now the season's almost upon us. It's really easy. There's a ton of stuff going in there every day. I said whether it's a post, a picture, something showing some stats on a ball player, a video, maybe an article I'm sharing. As once again, something making fun of the Eagles or the Cowboys, which are my personal favorites, right? I got a ton of New York Giants information going in there every day, and I don't commingle the two. So basically, whatever I put in the page, I don't put in the group. Whatever I put in the group, I don't put in the page, and I just try to keep them separate. So if you go to the page and you like it and you follow it, and you go to the group and you become a member, there's a ton of New York Giants information every day. Basically, it's pretty much 365. If I'm alive and breathing and I got internet access, there's stuff going in there every day. But you can't always satisfy everybody. want to come to the realization. So if you go to the page and you like it and you follow it, and you go to the group and you become a member of the group, and if you're not 100% satisfied, you get your money back guaranteed. All right, with all that stuff said and done out of the way with, well, BG Man, what's up? Good evening, buddy. What's good up? Did you hear what Chris Collinsworth said? Yeah. It was crickets. Yeah. He's like, hey, yeah. He's like, well, I mean, I was pumped up. Nice to hear. He's talking about comparing him to Patrick Mahomes and stuff. He said some of it was, now hopefully, hopefully more like maybe this season. He was talking about him like, yeah, I mean, like last season and maybe the year before, like, he said Daniel Jones stepping back and maybe pulling the ball back and going for a second read and stuff like that and all and everything. Yeah, I don't want to pump the brakes a little bit on the Patrick Mahomes things, but he should now get, I mean, Patrick Mahomes obviously is up here. Well, he's off the screen. He's up here. You can't see where I mean, Daniel Jones is, somewhere in here. But, one thing that Patrick Mahomes has, I mean, obviously, Daniel Jones never be a Patrick Mahomes, but one thing Patrick Mahomes has is the familiarity. He knows who his head coach is. He knows who his favorite target is. He knows the playbook by the back, like the back of his hand. He closes his eyes. He can see. He's calling a play in his dreams. He can see where everybody's going. He knows where the check off, where the first read is, or the second read, or the third read, the fourth read. He knows all this stuff because he's done it for so long. Well, Daniel Jones hasn't really had that. Daniel Jones had, 2018, he was with Duke. 2019, he was with Pat Shurmur. 2020, 2021, he was with Judge and the Clapper, right? So then last year, he was with, Kafka and Dable. So in 5 years, he had 4 different offenses he's trying to learn. You go from Duke to Pat Shurmur. Then his third season, he's trying to learn, Jason Garrett's playbook, so it's, right. So he has 2 years of that. Now he's with a really complicated, offense, with Dable and Kafka. So it's tough, plus he's, never really had a phenomenal wide receiver or anything like that to throw the ball to or nothing, so let's, hopefully with this familiarity, we got some fun stuff to play with. We can go deep. We got little guys who can run, with Shep and maybe Beasley and Wan'Dale Robinson. Got Waller. I didn't chart this, but P-Dot, Paul Dottino did from Big Blue Kickoff Live. He said, I think he said the first. What was it? The first 9, the Giants drive, the first when they scored against the Panthers. He said Darren Waller lined up in 7 different positions. I didn't look at that. I wasn't charting that stuff and all and everything. But Paul Dottino said he lined up in 7 different positions in the one drive. I mean, that gives it's going to give some well, where is this guy lining up at? I mean, it's not like, okay, he'll be in line here. If they're going to hand the ball up to Saquon, he might come in with a little block. If not, he's going to block. Maybe he'll go out and run a few patterns. He's kind of limited, what he can do with his route tree and all. He's all over the place. I mean, 7 different positions, he said. Now, I don't know if that means he started maybe in the backfield and that's a position, but he went into motion or something. I'm not exactly sure, but he said he lined up in 7 different positions in the first drive. So, I mean, that's going to give people stuff to think about. Then, of course, you obviously got to think about where's Hyatt at. Now, of course, let's not forget about where's Saquon at. And let's not forget about Paris Campbell, as fast that guy is. And, of course, Darius Slayton, he's got to rocket up his butt too. So, oh, yeah. But you're right. Yeah, I didn't hear nothing from Coward. I don't think he's too high in Daniel Jones, but it was nice to hear Collingsworth. I mean, Chris Sims, he's high in Daniel Jones too. He's a of course obviously his father Phil Sims, football legend here with the Giants. So Chris Sims likes Daniel Jones a lot too. So we got some guys that are, and actually it kind of brings up one of my little things I saw here was an article that got some of the experts, giving the Giants, the coaching staff some love, some praise. So that's nice to hear. But yeah, you're right about as Collinsworth was talking. I don't know if it was on. What the hell was that? Was it on YouTube or Facebook? I didn't see like the whole thing. I don't know how long it was. I saw like a 2-minute like clip of it. And I didn't hear Coward say anything at all. So, he may not be the biggest Daniel Jones fan, but it is what it is. But at least the offense got back on track a little bit today anyway, because they, there was no pads also, on Monday's practice. But, it was not a banner day for, let's say, the offensive line on Monday. But the offense strikes back here. Now, this is what the New York Post. Darius Slayton, caught back-to-back touchdown passes from Daniel Jones, who went 12 for 14 passing in team periods. So, rather impressive. In the red zone near the end of practice, Darren Waller had 4 catches in 11 on 11s. He also made a juggling, falling down grab on the sideline against cornerback Adoree Jackson. So yeah, and this here, I seen this and I'm like, what the? But sigh of relief. Yes. Jalen Hyatt got tangled up with Zion Gilbert on the sideline and seemed to be trying to walk off a slight limp between plays. So whenever his number was called, though, the speedy Hyatt showed no signs of slowing down. He even caught a bomb from quarterback Tyrod Taylor. So thankfully, because that's one of the things the things you don't want to hear. Caught my eye here from the New York Post. Said Jason Pinnock was sidelined, so Dane Belton stepped in and at safety with the starters. He is firmly entrenched as the third safety, according to New York Post, ahead of rookie Javarius Owens. All right, so don't forget about him, and veteran Bobby McCain. And it says here Bobby McCain, who could be battling each other for one roster spot. Now, now that's the one thing, because with Javarius Owens, he's a draft pick. Not going to want to get rid of him, but he might be somebody that they can, if he's not going to make the 53, he might be able to maybe get him on the practice squad. Because it'd be kind of tough, I think, for a 7th round pick, for somebody out there to just, if they will let him go, for him to get somebody's going to scoop up a 7th round pick, and because they would have to put him on their 53-man roster too. So I think he's somebody. If Javarius Owens, if they doesn't make the 53, he might wind up on their practice squad. So they got injury report. Tyree Phillips, which is cool, returned to practice on a limited basis. Let's see, which was basically the only change from Monday as far as injuries. Pinnock, Jack Anderson, Cole Beasley, Gary Brightwell, Tommy Sweeney, Cam Brown, and Ryder Anderson, and Nick McLeod, and Cordell Flott did not practice. Beasley, he said his leg is day-to-day, head coach Brian Dable said. So, and then Sterling Shepard and Leonard Williams took a veteran day's rest. So that's cool. This is from, what do we got? Big Blue View. Tyree Phillips is back in practice. So that's, I said, he's the leading candidate for the swing tackle job. Because Parrott has had some troubles, Cunningham, he did not look super spectacular against the Lions. So Phillips returned to practice now. He got some reps at guard and a tackle. So Phillips has been held out since suffering an injury during joint practices against the Lions. Let's see here. Of course, then we got the injury. Head coach Brian Daboll admitted that the list of injuries complicates decisions on the 53-man roster, which is coming up next Tuesday. By this time next Tuesday, this time in 7 days from now, we're going to know who the final 53 are. So Daboll said it's really just by past performance if we've had them or what we've seen out of them up to this point, whether that's through OTAs, through training camp. If they can't go, they can't go, Daboll said. So certainly a lot of discussion about those types of players that haven't been out there so that you can have kind of to be kind of a project a little bit of some, and then you have experience with them. Some of them are new players, so they have a lot of discussions on who they want to keep and all. And of course, then there was a Wan'Dale Robinson sighting. Now, this I seen, this is from Jordan Renan, who posted it on Twitter. Wan'Dale ran, he got a video of Wan'Dale's now cut back in, caught a pass, ran up the field a little bit. So just one like little video. Now, obviously, it doesn't mean Wan'Dale's going to be coming off a pup tomorrow, but he can't be too far away. I mean, if he doesn't make it by opening day, he'll start on pup. He's got to maybe miss the first 4 weeks or whatever, and he'll be good to go. But we still have 2.5 weeks until the start of the season. So, he didn't look too bad in that one route that we saw. This is the Giants continue with their 3-for-2 rotation between Azudu, Glowinski, and Bredesen, the three guys rotating the two different guard positions, which is fine. I mean, because, especially, if somebody gets injured, the more reps you have at both spots, the better. Obviously, of course, you always want to have, your starting 5 in there, and you want those guys to be in there all the time and get a lot of reps and familiarity and all and everything. But it's also, it's practice, it's preseason, and also, this is a good time to get some guys reps at different positions and everything. Had some practice highlights here. Right, so the Giants were in pads on Tuesday, and it was a better day for the offensive line. Daboll explained that on Monday. An awful day for the line. The Giants had practice a number of 3rd and more than 10 scenarios. So obviously, you're not going to run a sweep or whatever on a 3rd and 15 or whatever. So basically, Kayvon and all, Azeez, they just pin their ears back. And as soon as the ball snapped, they're just running for the quarterback. Jalen Hyatt continues to dazzle. Yeah. Matched up against Amani Oruwariye. The rookie blew past Oruwariye for a long completion from Daniel Jones. Earlier in the day, though, Hyatt appeared to come up hobbling after getting tangled up with Zion Gilbert during one-on-ones at one point. But about a minute later, he toasted Gilbert with a beautiful inside move to get open on a deep out. Man, this guy's going to be fun to watch this year. Oh, man. Because, if he's, if he's going up against a safety or something like that, if he's got, God bless that safety. I'll tell you what, man. Good luck and God bless you, brother. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Now, I'm not saying that Hyatt's going to have 15 touchdown receptions or not, but throughout the course of the year, if he stays healthy and all this stuff and everything, throughout the course of the 17 games, there's probably going to be a few of them. You're just going to look at it and you're just going to laugh. It's just going to be like, it's going to be almost like comical. It's almost going to be like Jalen Hyatt going against like maybe a high school kid. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen 8 or 9 times this year or something like that, but there's probably going to be 1 or 2, maybe 3 or so, like what happened in the preseason against Carolina. He went tried to go one way. He got the safety going that way. He planted his foot, went the other way, and he was about 35 yards away. It was just the amount of separation he got was just almost comical, right? So there's going to be some of those this year, a couple of them, 2, 3, whatever it might wind up being, that it's just going to be almost like kind of comical. because it's like, yeah, I know he's fast. Yeah, I got him. Yeah, he's fast. Yeah, all right, so I'm going to keep some separation and this, but there's going to be some plays during the year where it's going to be like, he's just blowing past somebody, and he'll be like 2, 3, 4 yards past somebody, and it'll be a touchdown. So it's going to be really fun, really, really fun. Let's see here. John Michael Schmitz had a good summer, but Dexter Lawrence is still Dexter Lawrence on a run by Saquon Barkley. Lawrence blew past Schmitz for what would have been a tackle for a loss. And a couple of personal notes: wide receivers Jamison Crowder and Colin Johnson each got a few first-team reps. That's cool. On defense, the 2022 fifth-round pick DJ Davidson, good, got a handful of first-team reps with Williams sitting out. So that's going to be important because the thing is, what you don't know, right, is you got Sexy Dexy, you got Leonard Williams, right? You got Nunez Archez or Nacho, right? You got Ashawn Robinson, right? How many interior defensive linemen are they going to keep? Going to keep 5? 6 would be quite a bit on a 53-man roster. So now, so you got Ryder Anderson. Him being banged up is going to be hard for him to make the 53. DJ Davidson get some snaps, so he's going to try to help himself out, right? And then, of course, you got Jordan Riley. So you got those 3 guys there battling out for maybe one spot on the 50. I said, unless maybe they keep 6. But that's a lot of guys. That's a lot of interior defensive linemen to wind up keeping on the 53. So it'll be interesting to see, who they keep. Maybe they keep 6. Maybe they keep Davidson and Jordan Riley. But it's kind of tough because they drafted Davidson and they also drafted Riley. The thing would be, of course, if DJ Davidson were to maybe, they would have let him go. I don't know if anybody's going to want to picking him up. Yeah, but you don't know. The thing would be is that, if they see enough in Jordan Riley, would they want to gamble and let him go? Because it's also one of those things. It's also the thing is that there's only so many human beings out there in the world. Okay. That height, that size, that can do what he can do. Do you want to gamble and let him go and hope he makes it back to you? That would be a big gamble. I'm not sure if they want to do that with Jordan Riley or not. So that's going to be interesting. But of course, this time next week, we'll find out who the final 53 are. All right. Then we got, now, of course, I've seen this here, and I don't think there's any way in heck. HELL hockey sticks. Giants and Colts. Who is this here? Yard Barker. Once again, this is one of these things. Giants and Colts named in a massive trade proposal. I don't see any way this is going to happen. Let's see. New York Giants and Tampa Bay are going in 2023 with different expectations. The Giants are coming off a playoff appearance, and the Indianapolis Colts just named Anthony Richardson as their starting quarterback and are hoping to get some rookie magic in year 1. Something that could help them with that would be another wide receiver in Indianapolis. So, Kenneth Teep, an NFL analyst, highlighted a trade scenario that sent Shepard to the Colts. I don't know if that's going to happen, but it says a trade seems very unlikely as Shepard has made it clear it is Giants or bust for him. And I'll tell you what, if when Shep's time is over, the playing, time is over. They would be very, very foolish if they don't find something for the man to do in the not even the front office, somewhere on the sideline, a coach, assistant wide receiver coach or something like that. Because the beauty of it is there's so many titles and names and all that stuff. They just make up names for some of these guys with their positions they got and all. They would be straight up foolish if they if they can't or they don't find something for Shep to do inside the Giants facilities there, whether he's on the sideline or whatever. They'd be an absolute fool if they don't keep him around after his playing day is over. The Colts could use some more reliable weapons around Anthony Richardson. Yes, they could. Yeah, the number 4 overall pick. He was named the team starter in week 1. I like that. Hey, if you don't expect much, if you're not like, on the cusp of this, well, or, expect decent things or whatever like that, you got a rookie quarterback, throw the dude in there, you know, yeah, he'll gain some valuable experience. Now, this might be a lost season for you, but the amount of experience that Anthony Richardson is going to get is, invaluable, and also give you, give him a step toward year 2. It'll also give you a better idea of evaluating the talent that he has. So I think it's a very good for him. It said it wouldn't hurt to bring in a seasoned veteran to help the highly talented but raw Richardson as a rookie. What could a deal between the Colts and the Giants look like? It shouldn't cost much to acquire Shepard, as the Giants have to pare down the position eventually. A 5th-round pick in the 2024 NFL Draft would normally be enough to get a deal done. Let's see. And then I saw this one here. Bleacher Report. The Giants are expected to make some trades before week 1. Okay. Shepard is also about to enter a contract year, and the Giants have spent top 100 picks on Wan'Dale Robinson and Jalin Hyatt, adding even more reasons for them to trade the Oklahoma product. The fan favorite wide receiver is coming off back-to-back years with season-ending injuries, including this torn ACL in week 3 last year. Since then, Shepard has worked his tail off in his rehab, and he's looked sharp this summer. Throughout training camp, Shepard has been running crisp routes and showing head man Brian Daboll that he still has plenty left in the tank to contribute for the offense. Shepard is going to want to make a splash early on and remind Big Blue Nation that he can be a top target for Daniel Jones. Things haven't been easy for Shepard in recent years, but he's back in East Rutherford on a 1-year contract, hoping to end his tenure with the Giants the right way. Trading him before he gets the opportunity to do so shouldn't even cross Shane's mind. Shep deserves the chance to prove his dad is wrong for his fault. Yep. Oh, yeah. So, I mean, I've seen this a couple times where, thinking about trading Shep, this, that, and the other thing. I don't know. Paul Dottino. Who did he have? He had, well, because he has Paul Dottino from Big Blue Kickoff Live, had Wan'Dale Robinson starting on PUP. So he'll have to miss the first 4 games, right? But his 6 that he has, the Giants keeping, is Hodgins, Hyatt, Slayton. Then we got 3 in the slot. We got Beasley, Campbell, and Shepard. Then Howard Cross is like, so what are we going to, what are we doing with, Wan'Dale Robinson? Howard Cross asked Paul Dottino, and Paul Dottino's like, you don't have to worry about that right now. He's on PUP. He'll have to miss the first 4 games, but after the 4th game, he can come back, and you have to worry about it then. Because you also don't forget, we got 2.5 weeks of practice, training camp, another game, and then we got 4 games of the regular season, and it's like, right, spaghetti and meatballs, right? It's like what goes injuries in the New York Giants. They just seem to go very well together. So you're expecting that all the the Giants wide receivers are all going to stay, healthy. But those were the 6 guys that Paul Dottino had. He had Jamison Crowder, no. Colin Johnson, no. Right. And I think he has Wan'Dale Robinson starting on PUP. So I don't see, I don't see the Giants trading Sterling Shepard. I think that'd be, I don't know. I mean, all I'm hearing is he's really looked good, coming back, really looking good. He knows Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones knows him. Right, he's super guy, especially having the locker room and on the sideline, and also. But we're going to find out. We're going to find out next Tuesday. Then, finally, we got some love from some of the experts. Who is this? Giants.com. Experts praise the Giants coaching staff Experts praised the Giants coaching staff in a win over the Panthers. The Giants put together a well-balanced victory over Carolina, which has led to the coaching staff garnering praise from members of the media, which is rather odd. You don't usually get a lot of love for the Giants. With the expectation of running back Saquon Barkley, the Giants played most of their starters, and they did not disappoint. The offense stormed down the field and got into the end zone in under 5 minutes, which was the first of 3 offensive touchdowns in the first half. Now, this is impressive because we haven't usually had this, right? Quarterbacks Daniel Jones, Tyrod Taylor, and Tommy DeVito. No, I get it. We just haven't really much had this a lot. It's just, even in preseason, okay? The Giants' 3 quarterbacks combined, okay? And this is with, some suspect. When DeVito gets in there, it's like, he drops back the pass, and it's like sometimes it's like a turnstile. Okay, he drops back the pass, and before the ball's actually hitting his hands, there's like 2 or 3 of the other defenders about half a yard away from him. So he's got to like literally catch the ball and just start dodging guys. I mean, some of the Giants, it's some of the second and third stringers we got at the offensive line, we need a little bit better depth. But once again, it's still we're building and all of that and everything. But hopefully our starting 5 should be better than it was last year. But we still, some of the depth we got to get. We got to get a little bit better there. But the 3 quarterbacks were 26 out of 33 passing. 78.8% passing with 230 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions. The other touchdown we had was when Eric Gray bowled his way into the end zone from like 9 yards out. And had an additional 29 yards on the ground. The 3 quarterbacks finished the night with a total passer rating of 118.1. So, the Giants haven't had much of that, especially in, I'm thinking in recent, put 3 quarterbacks in the game, right? And be 26 out of 33. I remember a lot of times we'd have Eli Manning in there, and, he might be in there for a possession or 2. He come out of the game. Yeah, Eli was 1 out of 6 for 4 yards. He got sacked once, and almost threw in a. So for us to walk down the field, that's pretty impressive. Not. But once again, it's just preseason. Former NFL quarterback and current ESPN analyst Dan Orlovsky took to Twitter to praise the offensive minds of head coach Brian Daboll and offensive Mike Kafka, offensive coordinator, whom the analysts referred to as a tremendous duo. Orlovsky said, coaching staff, I'll put up with anyone in the NFL. Right on, Dan. Right on, brother. Daboll and Kafka are a tremendous duo. Yeah. Now, the shame of it is obviously, you always hope the best for everybody, this, that, and the other thing and all. But, you can see if we have another phenomenal season this year, going above, beyond expectations and all, the offense does well and all, because once again, Kafka is going to be on fire. He's going to be another hot candidate once again. So, Daboll and Kafka helped transform the offense last season with many of the same players as the year before. Under Daboll and Kafka, the unit scored a touchdown on 63.3% of its trips into the red zone, the 7th best mark in the NFL with limited, offensive firepower. That's pretty doggone impressive. Pretty doggone impressive. Additionally, the Giants' run game finished top 5 in yards per attempt, and touchdowns, while the offense 16 total turnovers were the 2nd fewest in the league. Daniel Jones' 1.1% interception percentage not only led the NFL in 2022, but also set a new franchise record. NFL Network Brian Baldinger complimented the Giants coaches on Twitter as well. Good old Baldy. Yeah, I like him. He's tons of knowledge, and I love, he breaks it down, the way he breaks it down, nice and easy, dumbs it down for people like me and all that. I really like listening to Baldy. Baldy said, the Giants, this isn't going to be your father's Giants. They ain't no 3 yards in a cloud of dust here, brother. They ain't going to be your big blue stick in the mud offense. No. Giant fans, get ready to crank this engine up. This is going to be Sunday fun day from Brian Baldinger. Not to be outdone, the defense was also strong in the first half. Aside from the one drive that resulted in a field goal, take that one side, one drive, put it aside in the first half. The Giants held the Panthers to a total of 19 yards in the first half. While Carolina had a little more success in the second half, the Giants still held the Panthers to just 230 total yards on the night. Very impressive. Number one overall pick, Bryce Young, was on the field for 2 offensive series. The rookie finished his night with 35 yards on 50% passing and a 68.1 passer rating. Young and the 2 other Panther quarterbacks, Matt Corral and Jake Luton or Lutton, I'm not sure, threw for a total of 134 yards and 1 touchdown while completing 14 out of 26 passes, which is 53.8%. Meanwhile, Carolina rushed the ball 28 times for 101 yards, good for an average yards per carry of 3.6. What did help the Panthers quite a bit was some of the Giants, their penalties that they had. That helped the Panthers with some of their drives. This led Baldinger to also add some praise for good old Wink Martindale. Let's see. First third down, they went 3 for 3. Wink reaches into his bag of tricks. Bryce Young has nowhere to go. Punt team, Baldy said. Martindale may have moved from Baltimore to New York, but his defensive coordinator duties, but his aggressive nature and play calling remain intact and successful. PFF's Trevor Sikkema wrote last month when he ranked Martindale among the top defensive coordinators in the league. No team in the NFL last year played more cover 0 or cover 1, basically man coverage, than the Giants, which also helped lead, was one of the big reasons why the Giants did not have a lot of interceptions. You're basically playing man the whole time, right? What are you doing? Right? You're backing up, maybe you're following the wide receiver, you got your eye on the wide receiver. It's kind of tough, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. Play man coverage and get your head around in time, make an interception. It's kind of tough. So, I mean, pretty much the Giants with cover 0, cover 1, a lot of man coverage, with I don't want to say subpar talent, but, we didn't have, lockdown corners out there, right? Like some of the other teams did, So we got a lot out of, the talent that we did have. He did a very good job. The coverage and pass rush units were in sync, yielding 136 pressures and 24 sacks while in man coverage. At 60 years old and with 18 years of NFL experience, Martindale is still dialing it up with the best of them. Giants defense found plenty of success in the first season under Martindale. The unit finished the year ranked 5th in both third down conversion percentage, 35.1%, and red zone conversion percentage of 49.2%. The unit also allowed 39.8% of their opponent's drives to end in a score, which was the 8th best mark in the league. The team's 106 quarterback hits were also tied for the 8th most, while their 41 sacks ranked 13th. So they, very, 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 I think without question, we have a very good, coaching staff. Now, of course, when you do good, other teams just start coming and taking stuff from you. Like I said, like Brandon Brown. I mean, that dude, he's a future GM walking. He's very well versed, very obviously very knowledgeable. Came from the Eagles. Right. So, and, now he's doing well with the Giants. And of course, if the Giants continue to do well, other teams in the league are going to want, I want to know I want to know what's going on inside that guy's mind, so unfortunately we you got to ride the fence. You hope you have maybe a Brandon Brown for a while. But then, of course, you want, the guy wants to be a GM. You wish the guy nothing but the best too. But, so, I mean, between like maybe Martindale, Kafka, Brandon Brown, guys like that, unfortunately, we won't be able to hold on to all 3 of those guys for, probably a long period of time, especially if the Giants offense takes a nice little leap this year. A lot of teams are going to kind of want to know what's going inside Kafka's mind and all that and everything. So, but you wish everybody nothing but the best. And then, whoops, there we go. I saw this article. This is from Giants Country, from Patty Trainer. How the Giants leverage synergy to create competitive rosters. Now, this is important here. This is really important. it's important, but it can also be real, can be almost kind of a negative in one respect. I'll go over that as we go along here. So last season, the Giants shocked the world by fielding a competitive roster that went 9-7-1, made the playoffs despite questions about its personnel and despite having a brand new front office and coaching staff. The secret behind the team's success was a very simple yet often overlooked process that one would often see from competitive teams and which was missing during most of the Giants' years following the 2011 Super Bowl championship. The synergy between the front office and the coaching staff. The communication, right? It sounds basic enough. The coaching staff identifies what it needs to run its systems, and the front office goes out and finds guys to fill those roles. Communication, right? But sometimes egos get in the way to where a front office executive might fall in love with a player who may or may not make sense for the team. Okay? The result of such a scenario is often disastrous. The player is brought in, and the coaching staff is then forced to jam a square peg into a round hole, leading to friction between the two sides of the organization. Yep. Since the arrival of General Manager Joe Schoen, Assistant General Manager Brandon Brown, and Head Coach Brian Daboll, that has not been a problem for the Giants, and that synergy between the coaching staff and the front office has been the key and missing ingredient in the organization's turnaround. I think when you look from the top down, from General Manager Joe Schoen and Daboll preaching collaboration where there's synergy between the scouting department and the coaching staff, it allows us, like I kind of label it, finding players within the margin. Dabes preaches to his coaching staff, develop these guys, our rookies, our year two guys. There's been a high emphasis on developing their skill set. For us on the scouting side is making sure that they have the skill set that fits our scheme. So it's been a good marriage so far. That approach is simple and as obvious as it might sound, hasn't always been deployed in the past. For example, there's a split opinion between the general manager and the head coach regarding a player's fit. The general manager's opinion is often the deciding factor. There have been other cases where a focus has been on getting a jack of all trades, master of none, which results in a player either not being a fit for what the coaches want or leads to a struggle to develop that player, failing to develop until he goes elsewhere. Yep. That hasn't been a problem for the Giants under the Shane Daboll regime. The front office has done a good job of identifying strengths and weaknesses in the draft prospects and getting guys whose positive fit into the scheme and the role they've been asked to play, allowing the players to look like steals. Now, I'll just go over this one here real fast here. Right. Cornerback Trey Hawkins III is one such example. He's got length that fits our system, Brandon Brown said. Defensive coordinator Wink Martindale is very particular about what plays in the system and what's at a premium. We know, hey, you've got to be able to run. You got to be strong, guys that have length, and you've got to be willing to be physical in the run game, also in press coverage. So basically, it's kind of like, he goes out and, it's, what are you looking for? And we just, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. And they just, and they tell the scouts, this is what we want. The scouts go out there and look for it. They saw some stuff in Jordan Riley, right? I mean, the guy came from, he was with Oregon, and he was like in a community college and stuff. So he doesn't have a lot of highlights, not a lot of tape put out there, but they saw some traits in him. Maybe he ain't Aaron Donald, right? But they saw some traits in him that the Giants are looking for. They went out, they wound up drafting the guy. That's fantastic, and that's what that's a great way of building. The one problem, okay, that can arise is that Wink. What do you want? I want this, I want this, I want this, and I want this. Okay, we'll go out and get it. They get those guys, they bring them in. Okay, Wink, here you go. And Wink goes out there and he does his magic and this stuff and blah, 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 all that stuff. And everything's wonderful. Season's over with. Giants defense does good. Wink's a hot prospect. He gets 3 interviews, and the Saints sign him as a head coach. Now he's gone. Now you're left with, these ball players that fit Wink's system. So now what do? Right? You got to go out there and try to find a defensive coordinator who, is going to be able to run Wink's guys. Or you're going to bring in a defensive coordinator who might be successful and good and all, but he doesn't. I don't want these guys. I don't. That's not my guy. That's not the system I run. I mean, we'll do good. We'll be if you give me the guys I want, we'll have a top 10 defense. But this ain't these guys. So you got to be, obviously guys with, with good skill sets and obviously smart, tough, and dependable and all that, that's fantastic. But sometimes you got to be a little careful, getting guys that maybe fit a guy's system too much, because if the guy goes bye-bye, now you're left with a bunch of his guys and the new guy comes in. It's like, yeah, those aren't the guys I want, But it is very valuable to, obviously have that open communication all, because sometimes it's changed a lot. Because sometimes in the past, I mean, some of the draft and the Giants have done, 1982, right, for example, it ain't happening nowadays, right? 1982. The first 3 draft picks the Giants had, all running backs. All right. That ain't happening no more. Giants took Butch Wolfolk in the first round of the 1982 draft. I mean, this is because, because in 82, this was Coach Perkins, it would wind up being his last season, but I don't think he knew this at the time going into the season, right? I think maybe, he 82, I guess going into 80, I think he was probably planning on coaching the Giants after 82 and beyond, but the Alabama job opened up, or maybe he knew maybe Bear Bryant was going to be his last season and maybe they wanted him. I'm not sure, but it was George Young was the one drafting, so I don't know why you'd wind up taking 3 running backs in your first. It was, but it wasn't. The second round pick was Joe Morris. Great pick there. The third round pick, they gave it away to the Houston Oilers because in 1981, the Giants traded the Houston Oilers and they got Rob Carpenter. So they traded away their third round pick in 1982 to the Houston Oilers. So the first 3 picks in 1982, that George Young was the GM. Okay, we took Butch Wolfolk, running back, Joe Morris, a running back, and then we traded for Rob Carpenter, a running back. I mean, that stuff ain't going to happen no more. I'm sure if there was some type of collaboration going on, maybe between the coaching staff and the GM and all that, we're not taking 3 running backs with the first 3 picks, right? 1986 is another good example, and I'll give one more example in 1987. Okay, once again, the Giants. I won't go over. Yeah, the Giants. In 1985, they go to the playoff game. They lose to the Bears 21-0. Emphasize on nothing, okay? So when they go up against a good defense, they put up no points. So the Giants had the first-round pick. They had 4 second-round picks, and they had their third-round pick, right? So in the first 3 rounds of the 1986 draft, the Giants had 6 picks. Once again, keep in mind, when you're going up against good teams, you want to see what's your weakness. If we have to play these guys again now, and then 85, we played the Bears, we lost 21-0. 85, the 85 Bears with their defense and all, they beat the Patriots 46-10 in the Super Bowl. So so if we got to go up against them again, right? Which we didn't have to in 86 because the Redskins knocked the Bears out in the playoffs and we had to wind up playing the Redskins in the championship game. But anyway, if we have to go up against these guys again, we gave up 21 points. One of them, Sean Landeta, kicked the ball off the side of his foot, went like about 5 yards, 6, 7, 8 yards sideways. From his own end zone, the Bears picked it up and ran in for a touchdown. So basically, the defense gave up 2 touchdowns, right? So the defense wasn't too bad. Our defense was not too bad. Once again, keep in mind we scored no points, right? So George Young, now wind up working out okay because in '86 we won the Super Bowl, all right? And I'm not a GM and I'll never be as good as George. But when you score no points against the Bears in a playoff game, don't you think it would make some sense to maybe might want a little more offensive firepower? That would make sense to me, right? Now, with the first 6 picks of the 1986 draft, the Giants took all defensive players. The first round pick was defense. They had 4 second-round picks, all defensive players, and their third round pick was a defensive player. Now they got some good. They got was it John Washington, Mark Collins, Pepper Johnson. There was Eric Dorsey, I believe it was, Eric Howard. So we got some good players, and some guy Lasker, I think it was. He didn't last very long, but if you need some offensive firepower to beat, if you have to play the Bears again, and you need some offensive firepower, why are we drafting 6 defensive players in a row? Doesn't make much sense to me. Then the next thing, and this is once again is George Young and his wife. I don't know if he tried to make up for it in 1987. I don't know. But the 3 out of the first 4 picks in 1987 were wide receivers. We took Dessa Turner. We took Mark Ingram first. Then we took Stephen Baker, the touchdown maker, and we took Odessa Turner. 3 of our first 4 picks in 1987 were wide receivers. Now, we have some kind of, Bill Parcells, right? If Bill Parcells was in there collaborating and talking and this, that, I don't think he's going to be taking 3 wide receivers in the first 4 rounds. I don't think Bill Parcells would want 6, the first 6 picks in the 1986 draft to be all defensive. But, one of the things Bill Parcells said was, which he had a problem with, when he was with the Patriots, and even Dan Reeves had a problem when he was here with the Giants. He wanted more control. Being, he was the coach of the Giants from 1993 to 1996. Those 4 years. He wanted a little more say, a little more control. And the guy's bringing, I'm coaching. I know what I want. I know what, he went to the Super Bowl now 3 times. Now, mind it, they lost all 3 times. They had John Elway. I get it, but he went to 3 Super Bowls, right? So he kind of knows maybe what he wants and all, but it was George Young or, George Young was the guy picking for Dan Reeves, and Dan Reeves, wasn't really happy with that. When Bill Parcells went to the Patriots, one thing Bill Parcells always said, and you can Google this or YouTube it and all that. One thing is that always sticks out with me. Bill Parcells said when he was with the Patriots, he's like, if they want you to cook the dinner or something like that, at least you should be able to shop for the groceries. Meaning, right, if they want you to put a winner on the field, right, I should have some say in the guys I want to bring in. I've won 2 Super Bowls, right? I know what it takes to go to a Super Bowl, win a Super Bowl. I've won playoff games, all this stuff. I know what it takes. Why are you picking guys from me? Why are you taking square pegs and I got to put them in a round hole? Why? I know what I want, right? I know what wins. Okay. Why can't we at least talk about it? Maybe they talked about it. I don't know. But obviously back then it was more like, the GM's way or the highway. And I said, I always know Bill Parcells always had a problem with that. He wanted a little more control, a little more say about the guys you're bringing in, but the way it is nowadays, the way they're talking, you got to feel pretty, it's like Shane and Dable, they're almost like, I don't know, buddies. Right. There's no bad blood, nothing. They each want to win. You know what I'm saying? So they're talking. I mean, frick. I mean, you saw it. You got to see that. You had to seen that clip. I mean, they're in third round, right? And they're in the war room. And Dable's like, I'm going to text McVay, see if he wants to. If we can trade our third and fourth round pick to jump from 76 to 60th or whatever it wound up being. And Shane's like, cool, go ahead. So he's texting him, hey, how you doing, McVay? You know, they're buddies and all that. That's why you don't like to burn bridges. Try to keep, you know, it's competitive. This, I get it, but you don't want to be burning no bridges. If somehow Dable burned a bridge with McVay or something like that, maybe said something bad about whatever, something like that, we may not have Jalen Hyatt, right? But so you don't burn a bridge. But he's texting him, right? Right. And McVay texted back with him. I said, yeah, we'll take your third and your fourth, and you can have our pick. And that's how it went, right? So I mean, but Dable's like, let me text him. And Shane's like, all right, cool, sounds good. So I mean, you got to feel pretty good. I mean, even if we do lose Brandon Brown, there's always be somebody else out there to take Brandon Brown's place. If we do lose a Martindale, it'd be a shame. There'll be somebody else out there. If we do lose a Kafka, be a shame. But there's other phenomenal offensive minds out there as well too. We'll find somebody, But I think as long as we have Shane and Dable, sticking around together, I think you got to feel pretty good, because they've been around winning organizations, all that and everything. So, you got to feel pretty good going forward. But I always thought that was pretty good. But you got to watch out also too, because if you start grabbing too many guys, like as I'm saying, like with Wink, his kind of guys, and if Wink goes away, then you're left stuck with his players, and it's like the new defensive coordinator coming in. Those aren't my guys. I don't want so. But it's been 56 minutes. Vinny G-Man. Good talking to you, brother. I'll be back again tomorrow. And we got Saturday night, 6 o'clock. I don't know. I guess everybody's, I don't know. Does everybody have an early bedtime on Saturday night or something? But I don't know about 6. Aaron Rodgers is apparently going to be starting for the Packers. I don't know if anybody, any of our starters are going to be playing or not. That I don't know. But 6 o'clock kickoff on Saturday night. Well, at least it'll get done. At least it'll get done early. I'll have a post game after the game's over with, so I won't be going live. Hopefully at 10:30 or whatever it is now. Hopefully I'll be going live right after the game's over with. Hopefully it'll be a Giants victory. But so it's been 57 minutes. Whoever spent any time, Benny G-Man, as always, buddy. Thank you for listening to me. Good talking to you. Whoever spent any time listening to me, thank you so much. Or if anybody spends any time watching and replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Thank you. So always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.